Hey everyone, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please go ahead and follow and leave a 5-star rating. Okay, folks, let's touch on the price really quick here for Bitcoin. We are, of course, waiting for a relief rally from Bitcoin, which the altcoins will follow. However, that's not guaranteed, and we're going to have to watch and see what the stock market and such as the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq are going to do, because if they start rolling over and correcting, that's going to put a damper on what crypto can do. But by the textbook, we have been in extreme oversold conditions, extreme fear. The extreme or the fear and greed index score has been the lowest it's ever been. Lower than the COVID crash, lower than the FTX collapse in December 2022. So it's pretty ridiculous how oversold and extreme these things are. Sentiment is in the garbage. And that's where, the markets love to do the opposite of the herd, because the herd right now, they have given up on crypto, right? It's done, it's dead, and all that. But we know better, guys. Markets are cyclical. And even though we had a lackluster bull market, over the past 2 years or so with no major altcoin season, I'm still very bullish because this asset class is very young. We haven't even gotten crypto regulation yet, right? That is still being crafted, and it's in the Senate and we're waiting for it to pass there and be signed into law. So there's a lot of things that have not been done yet, but institutions are bullish, and all the major detractors and naysayers have capitulated. Just we need the regulation and then the macro conditions to align together. So Bitcoin, we're going to wait to see what the weekly close is tomorrow on Sunday. So I'll give you guys an update tomorrow as well. Right now, Bitcoin is just below 70K. So let's hope and pray and have our fingers crossed for a relief rally, and that could maybe just take us to 80, 85K. My hope is it goes higher, because the higher it goes, then we have more liquidity going to the altcoins, and we know altcoins typically outperform Bitcoin. I'm not saying we're going to new highs. I'm just saying a relief rally, right? So that is my hope, and hopefully we get that, folks. So stay tuned for more details as the week progresses. Now, it's funny, Scott Bessent, the secretary or the Treasury secretary, he was recently interviewed, and he said crypto investors' sentiment will rise once the Clarity Act is passed. I think so. And, I think crypto, we need to see some sort of relief rally that will help people to get out of the depression mode they're in. It doesn't mean we can't roll over from that relief rally to go to new lows. So just be careful there, right? Just so you guys know, you got to keep that in the back of your mind. But I think if we are able to get this legislation bill through the Senate and then, sign into law, certainly you're going to start to see momentum build again. The sentiment will certainly change. So I'm in agreement here. We need to get this thing done, and hopefully the banks and the crypto industry can find a compromise to get this thing done. But, that may take another 2 months, just to get through the whole process. So we're going to have to be patient. Now, here's some very big news coming out from X, which is formerly known as Twitter. So Elon Musk's X to launch crypto and stock trading in a couple weeks. This is big. It would be a huge, huge on-ramp, folks. We know Elon, he personally holds crypto. His companies like SpaceX and Tesla both hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Elon personally holds Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. So we've heard about this. Elon wants to make X this financial app all in one, kind of like what you see in the Asian markets with WeChat, if I'm not mistaken. But he wants all these things to happen on X, right? The ability to trade, to have a wallet, to be able to send money. So users will be able to interact with ticker symbols and post and execute trades within the app. The company head of product said X Money, the company's in-house payments system, is preparing for an external beta launch within 1 to 2 months. So could this also dovetail with the Clarity Act passing, some sort of relief rally, right? Moving with stocks and crypto and so forth? Possibly. And but this would be big news once it's live. I mean, there's a huge, huge community on X around crypto, and not to mention other demographics, and that could really bring a lot of people onto these or into these markets. So the upcoming features described by the company's head of product, Nikita Bier, will include smart cash tags. This will allow users to interact with ticker symbols and post and execute trades from the app. Very, very interesting. So we shall see how this rolls out and who they're working with to get this done. But nevertheless, very big news. And folks, this episode is brought to you by Trezor, which makes beautiful hardware wallets that make it easy for you to safely store your crypto assets. I'm a user of Trezor's devices, the Safe 5 and the Safe 7. I've been preaching self-custody for years. That's where I custody majority of my assets. And Trezor, they were the ones who started all of this. They created the hardware wallet and the seed phrase setup, and their wallets are open source. So their most recent device, the Trezor Safe 7, that is quantum resistant. It has top of the line security and much more. They support all the major crypto assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Cardano, Dogecoin, and much more, even new tokens like BlackRock's BUIDL. And they have a great software suite called Trezor Suite, which helps you to manage all of this easily. And folks, right now they have a Valentine's Day sale going on. It ends February 15th, so tomorrow. So you can get up to 20% off or discount on some of the bundles and things they offer. So great sale, guys. Check it out. Get a discount and secure your crypto with a hardware wallet where you control the private keys. This is the safest way to custody your assets. And they have a lot of different seed phrase backup items like the Keep Metal, where you can put the words in a metal format and much more. Just really, really great solutions. They also have a Trezor expert onboarding session. So you buy the device, you want to talk to a Trezor rep. They have that. And don't worry, they don't ask you for your private keys. But great services, great devices. And again, I'm a user. So if you'd like to learn more about Trezor, visit the link in the description and go get those discounts, guys. Okay, moving ahead. US-based DeFi group urges UK FCA to anchor crypto rules to unilateral control. This is big. We're going to see across the globe, many of these countries and jurisdictions are going to unify their rules, right? Right now, there may be some differences, but they're going to get all on the same page because, as I've been telling you guys, the future governments, markets, and economies will all run on blockchain rails. And in order for these different protocols and platforms to function appropriately, there's going to have to be similar rules, right? It has to be a 100% carbon copy, but there has to be similarities where there isn't friction and roadblocks, right? So the DeFi Education Fund tells the FCA that regulatory obligations should apply only where there's unilateral control over user assets or transactions. The US-based group argues non-custodial DeFi developers should not be treated like centralized intermediaries. The DeFi Education Fund warns that applying trading platform prudential requirements and full money laundering laws to automated protocols would be structurally incompatible. So some of these folks in governments and so forth, they still don't grasp DeFi, right? They don't realize there's no middleman, there's no intermediary, that it's a very different system, and it's going to take a time for them to get up to speed and educated. But regarding the DeFi Education Fund, I've had Amanda Tuminelli on the podcast many times. I actually interviewed her last week, so that interview should be published soon, where we talked about DeFi and all the complexities and how some of the language will be fit or put into the Clarity Act and much more. So stay tuned for that. Okay, moving ahead, Boerse Stuttgart Digital Trades agree to a merger to build European crypto hub. So across the globe, we're seeing expansion and a lot of building. So Boerse Stuttgart Group, operator of one of Europe's largest stock exchanges, said it will merge its cryptocurrency business with Frankfurt-based digital asset trading firm Trades in a strategic move to expand its presence in institutional crypto markets. The transaction will consolidate about 300 employees under a joint management team for both companies, according to a Friday announcement. The combined unit aims to cover multiple digital asset services, including brokerage, trading, custody, staking, and tokenized assets. It will, listen to this, it will serve banks, brokers, and other financial institutions across Europe, providing fully regulated cryptocurrency infrastructure, the announcement said. Folks, on-ramps being built for more capital to come in from for the biggest institutions and wealthy individuals. Again, this is not about retail anymore. This is to get the big money, and this is why I'm still bullish, guys. Very, very big news here. Okay, guys, big update here. So Senator Warren and Senator Kim looks like they're really going after Trump with World Liberty Financial and the UAE's reported $500 million stake in the company. So, as we discussed in yesterday's podcast, Trump needs to slow the hell down, man. He should not be doing all these crypto things. It's really going to put a roadblock in front of us for the Clarity Act. And hopefully, we are still able to get it done, but he's not helping us right now. And look, two things can be true. Donald Trump has been better for crypto than things were under Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler, right? Absolutely. But he's also taking advantage of the market, right? And some people can't see that for the life of them, right? Their politician can do no wrong, but I don't worship politicians, folks. I keep politicians accountable, right? The government is supposed to work for the people. So we got to call it like we see it. When Donald Trump was running and when he came into office, we were saying, look, where's Kamala Harris? Where are all these people? They're not doing a great job. Donald Trump is. Now Trump is taking advantage of this market, so we got to call it like we see it. And he could potentially really stop this Clarity Act from passing, and I hope not. But you can see these people are not. They're going to use it against him, and he put himself in that position. So this really sucks. And even people who are Republicans are calling it out. Here, Dave Weisberger, who I recently had on the podcast, he tweeted out something that he agrees with Anthony Scaramucci, who's also Republican, and he worked for Donald Trump for like 10 days back in the 2016 run. And he says, look, I have to agree with Anthony Scaramucci on Trump's meme coin grift. It was a turning point. It galvanized half the country against crypto. It created in the minds of, and he says here, Trump derangement syndrome addled Democrats political cover to push the anti-crypto army agenda and resist clarity. He says it is why the banks have an opening to push their anti-competitive agenda. I think this is spot on. Those banks saw the Genius Act. They knew the Genius Act passed. And now all of a sudden, when the Clarity Act is getting to get pushed through, they're coming back and say, oh, no, we need to relitigate it. We need to stop stablecoin yield. And the reason why is they know there's a bunch of Democrats in Congress and there's a cohort now saying, oh, look at Trump. Look what he's doing with crypto. He's taking advantage. He's getting bribes, blah, 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 right? All those things. And some of it may be true. Some of it may not be. But the point is, it doesn't even need to be true. Just the optics. And this is that word I've used many times, folks. So even if you're a big Trump person and you're a big supporter, you got to call it like you see it, right? If you're being intellectually honest, you got to call it like you see it. So my hope is that we are aware of this and we need to put the pressure I just wish Trump would stop. But just recently, like we reported yesterday, Truth Social launched or filed for 2 crypto ETFs. World Liberty Financial is expanding to cross-border payments and all kinds of stuff. And it's like, dude, wait till we get the Clarity Act. But I digress. It's frustrating. This is why I hate politics. I hate politicians and I hate politics. Now, that's not to say I don't respect people. Obviously, I've had members of Congress on, and there's certainly some really great people that I respect. But just the political realm, it's so nasty and toxic and annoying sometimes. But I hope you guys get what I'm saying. All right, moving ahead here, we got an update that Grayscale filed to convert their Aave token trust into an ETF to list on the New York Stock Exchange ARCA. So we're seeing more altcoin ETFs being launched. And, again, I've been saying once the Clarity Act passes, I think that kicks off the super cycle, not overnight, obviously, but with all the institutions, all the on-ramps, and that could be, the bull market we've been waiting for, to match all the adoption we've been seeing. And then hopefully the macro aligns with that, with more rate cuts, more quantitative easing and so forth, because we're still in the early innings of those respective items. So this is really great. And folks, just want to let you guys know, I will be speaking at the Money Show Las Vegas coming up on February 22nd and 23rd. And I'll be talking crypto, of course. I'll be doing a fireside chat on Sunday, February 22nd, and on Monday, February 23rd, I'll be on a panel talking about stable coins, the tokenization, and much more. So just to let you guys know, if you're going to be attending the Money Show Las Vegas, and be sure to come check out those sessions if you're around. Folks, Thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all. Thank you. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't as yet. And please support the podcast by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It is 100% free. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And my course at mycryptocourse.com. All the links will be in the description. Folks, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you all. And I'll talk to you all later.